Good day, everyone. We are the Group 2, and today we'll be talking about students with difficulty in seeing. This condition affects how a student sees and interacts with the world. As students and future educators, we can help by being more patient and understanding, offering simple help or supporting inclusive practices, by knowing its general educational adoptions and how we can identify their needs, we can become more aware and more supportive. So, what is learners with difficulty seeing? Learners with difficulty seeing, also referred to as visually impaired learners or learners with visual disabilities. These students face unique challenges in the classroom, but with the right support and strategies, they can succeed academically and socially. In addition, learners with difficulty seeing are students who have partial or complete loss of vision that affects their ability to perform tasks that require sight. This includes students who are blind, have low vision, or have visual processing disorders that limit how they interpret visual information.
At this point, let's proceed to the identification. So, teachers and caregivers can observe and identify learners with visual impairments by noting these following signs. So, the first sign is squinting, frequent eye rubbing, or blinking. These actions are physical responses that children use to try to cope with poor or blurry vision. The eyes may feel tired, strained, or uncomfortable, especially after trying to focus for a long time. The second sign is holding books or objects very close to their faces. This is a classic sign of nearsightedness or myopia, where the child can see clearly up close but struggles to see things farther away. This helps them see the words clearly, but it's not a normal behavior. It means their eyes cannot focus well from a typical distance. The third one is difficulty recognizing faces or reading the board. This affects distance vision, which is critical in a classroom for learning, reading the board, and recognizing people. So, a blurry vision at a distance affects social interaction, where a child might miss social cues or avoid group work out of frustration or embarrassment. The next sign is complaints of headaches, blurred vision, or eye pain. These are symptoms of visual strain, especially when doing close work for long periods without proper visual support. So this often result from constantly forcing the eyes to focus, especially if the child needs glasses but doesn't have them. The fifth sign is clumsiness or trouble navigating spaces. Vision isn't just about reading, but it is also about moving safely. A poor vision affects depth perception and spatial awareness. They might bump into objects, which will show that they can't judge distances well or they don't clearly see obstacles or objects around them. And the last sign is the poor performance in tasks requiring visual attention. So, when visual is unclear, academic tasks become much harder and more frustrating even if the child is intelligent. They might have a messy work where it is hard to write neatly when you can't open where to begin or what you're copying. They might also rush to finish because reading is tiring. In this case, a professional consultation is important because if the child isn't properly diagnosed, they may suffer needlessly. So their academic performance, their confidence, and health could be all affected.
So next, I'll be sharing some learning characteristics that can be observed in learners with difficulty seeing These are students who may have low vision or are visually impaired. Because of this, they develop unique ways of learning and may show certain behaviors in the classroom. So the first one is auditory, may rely heavily on hearing, touch, and verbal descriptions to learn. Since these learners cannot rely on vision, they often learn through hearing. They might prefer listening to the teacher's voice, audiobooks, or recorded lessons because it helps them understand better. The second one is listener, tend to have strong memory and auditory processing skills. Learners with visual difficulty usually become good listeners. They can easily remember what the teacher says or follow spoken instructions without needing to see them written on the board. The third one is visual challenge. May struggle with visual-based tasks like reading, drawing, or using visual aids. This is the most obvious characteristics. These learners struggle with reading, watching videos, or using visual materials. A student may find it hard to read from the board or see pictures in a book, so they might need large print, braille, or audio materials. The fourth one is uncoordinated, might have delays in motor skills, spatial awareness, or mobility. Because they can see clearly, they may have problems with movement or using their hands. They might bump into things or have trouble writing or cutting because they can't see where things are. The fifth one is slow pace, require more time to complete assignments involving reading or writing. These learners may need more time to do school tasks. For instance, a student who reads with their hands or listening to lesson might take longer to finish, so we need to be patient and give them more time. Lastly is misunderstood. May experience social challenges if they cannot recognize nonverbal cues. Sometimes, learners with visual difficulty are misunderstood by others. Example, they may not notice body language or facial expressions, which can make social interactions hard. This can lead to being left out or misjudged by classmates.
Now let's proceed with general educational adaptations. General educational adaptations is about adjusting teaching method and resources to meet the needs of the students. As future teacher or educator, we can possibly encounter the students with difficulties in seeing, so we need to make adjustments to support their needs. There are different strategies a teacher can do. First, we have instructional adaptation. Using audiobooks, braille, or screen reader software, if using books, should let them know ahead of time so they can prepare with audiobooks, braille, or screen reader software. Second, provide large print materials or high contrast text so they can easily see and not struggle, or like use audio recordings instead of printed materials when needed. And third, verbally describe all visual content like charts or images, or read aloud everything written on the board. In classroom environment, first we should ensure good lighting and minimize glare. We should make sure the room is bright without glare so that the students can see well. Second, seat the student in a position that maximizes their visual ability, where they can see best or where they are comfortable with. Third, keep pathways clear and classroom layout consistent for safe mobility. Keep classroom setup clear to help students move safely. In social and emotional support, first we should promote peer support or buddy system, or allowing students help and support each other as one. Second, educate classmates about inclusion and sensitivity. So we should teach students to accept and be kind to everyone. Third, foster self-confidence and independence through positive reinforcement. So we should help students believe in themselves and try things on their own by using kind words. And lastly, assessment modification. First, allow oral exams or extended time for tests. Give extra time to students or let students answer tests orally if they prefer. Second, permit the use of assistive technology. Should allow students to use helpful learning tools so that it will make it easier for them to answer the test. or the assessments. And lastly, offer assignments in formats that suit their needs. Should provide alternative formats for assignments and evaluations. And now, let's call on Luis for the conclusion.
To summarize, learners with difficulty seeing are those with partial and complete vision loss affecting their ability to learn visually. They can be identified through signs like squinting, holding objects close, or a difficulty navigating spaces and must be assessed by eye specialists. These learners often rely on hearing and touch, have strong memory skills but may struggle with the visual aid text, need more time and educational adaptations, including providing audio materials and using assistive technology, ensuring a well-lit and organized environment. And offering extra time for tasks, social support, and peer inclusion are also important to help them build the confidence and success in the classroom. Next, we have a diagram breakdown. So at the center, we have our main topics: learner with the difficulty seeing students who experience partial or complete vision loss affecting their ability to learn visually. From there, the diagram breaks into our 4 key areas. First, definition. Is it learners who have low vision or blindness, or they must struggle to read, write, or navigate without special tools or support. Since we know a definition, we will move to identify how their behaviors. The signs include squinting, holding books too close, clumsiness, or frequent bumping into things. So complaints of eye strains and headaches. So these are the formal diagnoses made by an eye specialist. After re-identifying their signs, so we need to know how their characteristics to learn things. So these learners often have strong memory and good listening skills, relies on more hearing, touch, and verbal instructions. They need extra time to complete the tasks. They might face challenges with mobility or social skills. Next, how do we support them? The educational support. So teacher and school can help them by using the large print of the audio materials, providing the assistant technologies like screen readers or magnifiers, ensuring a safe and organized classroom layout, encouraging peer support, promoting and inclusions. In short, the diagram shows how learners with visual difficulty can be understood and identified and supported through a thoughtful adaptation in the classroom. To summarize, learners with difficulty seeing are those with partial and complete vision loss affecting their ability to learn visually. They can be identified through signs like squinting, holding objects close, or a difficulty navigating spaces and must be assessed by eye specialists. These learners often rely on hearing and touch, have strong memory skills but may struggle with the visual aid text, need more time and educational adaptations, including providing audio materials and using assistive technology, ensuring a well-lit and organized environment. And offering extra time for tasks, social support, and peer inclusion are also important to help them build the confidence and success in the classroom.